Good afternoon, YouTube, and welcome back once again to Phatkat Collections. Guys, Invicta lovers, today I'm telling you guys I am so excited to share with you guys my most recent purchase. So you guys know that I love Invicta watches, and you know, if you've been watching me for a while, you either like the channel or you don't. And I get a lot of positive comments, and I thank you guys for watching. But you know, every now and then I get a comment saying, "Hey, get to the point, you talk too much." Ultimately, this is my channel, and I love to share this stuff with you guys. I'm passionate about the brand, I'm passionate about watches and all the things I review, and I like to talk about it, you know? So today, guys, when you think that the watches couldn't get any bigger, I want to share with you guys today. Let me just take it off because I've been wearing it since yesterday. And when I mentioned about talking, I am going to tell you guys my story and what I had to deal with to get this watch. So let me just pop it off right quick here. The clasp on this one is a little bit tight. Sometimes these friction clasps take a little time to break in, so bear with me just for a second here. So guys, first off, I don't normally show you guys the box, but I am going to show you guys the box today because it is a little bit different than the other Invictas that I've owned. Here is the Invicta box, of course. And you guys know it's your standard Invicta presentation. I will say that although, you know, I'm not a box guy, they do really provide a very nice presentation, especially for what you're paying for these. So naturally you have your light cloth insert. Let me just get this out of the way here to get to the box. And you know, if you've seen one Invicta box, you've seen them all. You generally get this exterior. Let me cap it back up here. You get the exterior packaging, and this is pretty standard with most boxes, you know. I mean, it's a black box. And of course you get the Invicta box, and the difference with this one here is this is a Shack edition. Now this box is a little bit different from the other Invicta boxes I've had. If you guys remember a while back, I had a 10 slot and actually sold it on eBay because I don't really use the boxes. So this is the same design. You have this exposed yellow ring around the inside, and of course your standard Invicta interior in black and yellow. A lot of cases these are all yellow. Really huge pillow for the watch. This is generally a little bit larger box than I'm used to a lot of the Invictas. So on par with that 16 slot or 10, I think it was 20 slot, 10 slot, Invicta, it was the Aviator collector's box, which again I sold it because I didn't really use it. So nice presentation, but let's get to what this is all about. This is a Shack edition. This is my first Shack edition, and if you're not familiar with Invicta or you're new to Invicta, Invicta collaborates with some, you know, famous folks. They recently collaborated with Shack. When I say recent, I mean within the last year or so. They've in the past collaborated with Jason Taylor, and that's really, to the best of my knowledge, the only two male gentlemen that they've collaborated with. Really, you know, when it comes to whether I like the standard Invicta or a Shack or a Jason Taylor edition over any others, it really doesn't matter to me. All that really matters is that you're getting the look, a certain type of look, color, combination, stones, whatever it may be. So the fact that this is a Shack piece wasn't a determining factor in me buying it. I would have bought the watch regardless. So let's check it out, guys. And when I tell you that watches, you know, I mean, the Sea Hunter is the biggest watch, and you know, and that Invicta makes, and you get your thickest watch, the Hydromax. This is a tank, and this is again where a lot of times you really have to get the watch and know what you're going to get, because the sizing with Invicta is really inaccurate. So let me show you this beast of a watch. This is the 5 time zone reserve level Shack. I don't know if it actually has a specific name. You know, with Invicta, sometimes they do. Sometimes they have 3 names, sometimes they don't have 1. This is just a Shack 5 time zone. I don't think it actually has, yeah, just Shack. They call it Shack. And the thing is about that is that I wish they would have given it another name. But what this watch is, let me just, oh my God, guys. Let me tell you, now here's where I start to ramble. So if you hate that about me, I'm sorry, but you can always advance the track without, instead of just dropping a comment telling me how you don't like it. This watch is killer, guys. So, all right, so a little bit long-winded here. So this watch, what's sentimental about this watch for me is that what really started my watch journey, and again, I had watches in the past back around, you know, 1999, 98. I've had watches prior, a few here and there, but what really got me passionate about watches is a watch by the name of the Jacob & Company 5 time zone watch. And they did this kind of 5 time zone look. They were all quartz. I don't believe they made any of those in automatic. They were all quartz. Very expensive, minimum $5,000. They had a gemstone or iced out diamond bezel, and of course it was threaded, so you could change it out and customize the watch. And that watch, for me, I remember the first time I saw it, it was in a Benzino video. And at that time, me and my boys were all going to the clubs, and it was all about being flashy as a young guy, showing off like you got money. Some of us outgrow that, and but others, they don't, and that's why they have to go buy a Rolex to act like they got money, or represent or show off that they got money, right? Or that they have credit, right? Just kidding. But anyway, guys, that's kind of what we were about, wearing big flashy jewelry in the 90s and the hip hop, the R&B. That was kind of the style. Now I haven't really outgrown, so no fault to or no disrespect to anybody who hasn't outgrown those. We like what we like, right? So I mean, I don't mean to disrespect anybody. I'm only joking. But I've always loved the big flashy stuff. Big wheels. Just bigger is better, right? And I smile because this watch is very sentimental. I'm like a kid with this thing. And so again, that was a watch, the 5 time zone watch. I saw it in a Benzino video. It was a 47mm Jacob & Company. And after that, the watch became very popular in the hip hop industry. And like movie stars were wearing them, a lot of famous people, and they were very popular. Now they're not as popular today, but Jacob & Company has really changed a lot in their designs. They are a super amazing artistic watch company. But what I love about this, and this doesn't surprise me that Shaq had an influence in this sort of 5 time zone design. This is known for Jacob & Company. When you look at this, you would think this is a Jacob & Company watch. There was lots of like fakes out there. There was lots of guys rocking like homage style watches that they were like made by companies like Simon & Company, and then there was Joe & Company, Bob & Company, all making similar watches because they were so popular. And when you wore, let me just tell you, it was like back then, when it came to wheels, when you were rolling a set of 18s on your car, people were like, oh my God, those are huge, And so with the Jacob & Company watches, 47mm at that time was enormous. Now, to some folks, that's even big nowadays, right? But as watches have progressed, as larger watches have become more popular, and they are popular despite what other fools want to say, there's always going to be big watches. Everybody likes different things, and there's nothing wrong if you like smaller watches or if you like big monstrosities like this, which is what this is. This watch is unbelievable, guys. And I do have a Grand Octane. I'm going to compare it to side by side so you can see how much larger this watch is. Now, on a side note, this watch was a pain in the ass to get. And I want to thank, I forget which one, and I'm sorry that I forgot which username you have, but one of my subscribers on Instagram actually, I believe it was on Instagram, he knows how much I like the Jacob & Company watches. He knows I have a few videos showcasing some of those watches. And he was like, hey, Invicta's got that 5 time zone watch on sale. Shop HQ, which I don't normally recommend Shop HQ. They're a great company. I just prefer to go through Invicta stores. But again, buy from where you feel most comfortable. What I've never really liked about Shop HQ is that Invicta stores and Shop HQ, they a lot of times they don't have the same product. I'm not saying they don't at all, but they kind of play a game back and forth. And so since Invicta stores opened up with their yellow tag events, you really can't beat them for pricing. Now Shop HQ every now and then does. So my subscriber said, hey man, this watch is on sale. I know you like that watch. Check it out. So it was on sale for $229. You have to pay shipping and tax, of course, but I got another 20% on top of that. So I got this for just about $200 out the door. And so I had to pull the trigger on it. There was a couple different variations. You can get it in the gold rose tone. You get it in the yellow gold, which you guys know I'm a huge fan of yellow gold. This particular variation, the black, a black with red time zones, and of course a silver with blue time zone. A lot of them were sold out very quickly. This was available, a few other variations, but I have a lot of Grand Octanes in two-tone. And I don't have a lot of black watches. And what have I always said, if you guys have been watching me for a while, what do you need with a black watch to really make it pop? You need something different. You need size and you need something unique to really set it off. Otherwise, it just looks like a big G-Shock Mudmaster on your wrist. No, no offense, but not really my thing, right? So this is different. And so when I saw the black, I said, man, I think I'm gonna go with that. and I'm so happy that I did. The black really sets off the time zones, and this watch actually has 0.58 carats of diamonds, very small diamonds, but they are authentic diamonds around each time zone. On this particular one, you have a matte black face around the what would normally be indices. You do have some indices, but not on every mark. You have it at the 12, 3, 6, and 9 position. But then you have an inner ring, which is a black mother of pearl. Now, when you look at this online, unfortunately with Invicta, I will say, a lot of their black mother of pearls that I've seen, it's almost not noticeable. And this one here, you can tell it's mother of pearl. Sometimes you get lucky and you get a piece of mother of pearl that has a lot of rainbow to it. This one here is pretty subtle, but it's better than some of the other Invictas I have with black mother of pearl. So that's great. I mean, when you're looking at this and the light catches it just right, you can really see that black mother of pearl. And of course, the time zones are sort of a yellowish color, and they're kind of like a yellow mother of pearl. So fantastic. I mean, just a killer looking watch. You have, again, the gold like kind of hex screws going around the bezel. And of course, each time zone is adjustable. So you have 5 batteries in this watch. This watch is powered by a Miyota movement. Now, I just want to state that the Miyota movement in this is a very inexpensive movement. There is 5 of them. They're about a $5 movement. So you're not getting the well-known Ronda movements that are definitely, I would say, a better quality movement. But remember, this Miyota movement in this watch is used in many, many different brands. It's accurate to, I believe it's plus or minus 15 or 20 seconds per month. It's going to be accurate. The battery's got a 3-year battery life on it. And again, it's a reliable quartz movement. It's not over the top, but it is, at least you're getting a movement that's got a name brand that has some reputation. So you're not getting the Ronda, you're not getting automatic, but that's fantastic that they went ahead and used that. You do have a threaded case back, of course, should you have to replace the batteries, which you will eventually. Guys, this is just an amazing beast of a watch. Again, this is done in the black and gloss black. So you have gloss black on the sides of the case. You have a matte finish going down the band. And it's the best, as far as I can tell, this band is exactly like your Grand Octane. Which this for me is a real winner. And I'm going to go as far as saying this might be my new favorite Invicta watch, hands down. It's fantastic, guys. And I mean, especially in the black, this watch just really pops. So let me just first state a couple of the differences that I found. Now, as far as weight on the watch, I will say that surprisingly the watch it's comparable, I would say, to your Grand Octane. The only thing I've kind of noticed with the band is the band just feels, each link feels, and I might be mistaken on this. Yesterday, I kind of thought the band felt a little bit lighter than your Grand Octane, but now actually feeling it the next day, it feels comparable to what you're going to get out of a Grand Octane. It is a reserve level timepiece. It's not a Swiss-made timepiece. Remember, guys, none of the Invicta watches, to the best of my knowledge, are made in Switzerland. Swiss-made means very little nowadays. There was a time when Swiss-made did mean something, that it was a symbol of quality. Nowadays, there's all kinds of great quality coming out of China, Japan, and this watch, to the best of my knowledge, is made in Japan. So are the movements. So if that means something to you, you may not want to get this one, but to me, Swiss made means very little. And remember, whenever you see Swiss made on Invicta, it's only because the movement is actually falls under the classification or the requirements to use the Swiss-made insignia on the dial. Meaningless to me, I could care less. So just an amazing watch, guys. Check this out. So you have your standard Invicta clasp on this. It's just a friction clasp. This is pretty much standard on all Invictas. Very rarely will you see an Invicta with a dual push button deploying clasp. So these always work. I've never had a problem with any of them. Again, you have that matte finish, or that brushed, I should say, brushed finished band, mirror polishing on the sides, and then you have a little bit of mirror polishing and a brush finish around the bezel with, of course, those polished gold indices, and the polished gold indices, 12, 6, 3, and 9. And of course, that beautiful mother of pearl all over the dial, guys. This is so sentimental. Now, let me just tell you guys my story here, for those of you who like to listen to me ramble. This was a heck of a time getting this watch, and once it's sold out, this is going to be gone. So this is gone for $220. You'll never see it again for that. You may see it cheaper, but I'll tell you, after having it, it's worth what Invicta stores is charging for it right now. It's $4.99 Invicta stores. They have them in stock. I don't know how much longer they're going to have them. This thing flew off the shelves. I mean, I've never seen watches go so quick on Shop HQ. This was gone in 2 days. The first day, there was like 4 different variations gone. So the black was available, the yellow and silver two-tone, and of course the, what was the other one? The yellow gold was available. Gone. I'm so glad I got the black. Now my story with this, let me get to it here. This was supposed to be delivered what was it, on the 2nd? What was that? What day is today? The 5th, I think? So yeah, on the 2nd. So it said out for delivery, was it the 2nd? Yeah. So it was supposed to be delivered in a second. It didn't get delivered. It said that it got handed off to the local post office from UPS. We all know Shop HQ uses UPS. So they shipped the watch. USPS had it. Next day it said out for delivery. Expect by 9 p.m. 9 p.m. came and went. No delivery. Next morning it said watch is out for delivery on the 4th. Well, I'm like, great, fantastic. Gonna get it. I thought it was kind of weird that there was no update. And so what had happened was next day, like 10 minutes after it says out for delivery, it says insufficient address, right? So I went down to the post office and let me put this down. I'll try to keep this as short as possible. Went down to the post office. They tell me, yeah, it's not here, but it's not in the pile to go back. Most likely it just got keyed in wrong late night and you'll get it today. Wait for my mail, no watch, right? So I contact UPS. They're like, yep, got handed off. We don't know where it's at. Post office says that they don't have it. Obviously, they said probably out for delivery. Talk to my postman. He's like, yep, I've been on the route. He's been doing it 30 years. Same guy. I've been on the route last whole week. He only has somebody else on the route when it's his days off. He said, I didn't see anything. He delivered my other packages. I'm like, great. So I'm thinking somebody stole this damn thing, you know? So I go back to the post office. I try to call the post office. You can't talk to anybody. I wait in the long line again. Speak to the girl next to the guy who I spoke with earlier. She involves a supervisor. Guy was a complete dick, right? But you know, I did actually take the higher road, and he's like, well, you know, probably the label got destroyed. And I'm thinking, dude, this has never happened before. And the thing is, the day before, I had another issue with a package that they basically had in the back. Didn't bother to put it in my box. It's like a week went by and I had to go in there and say, hey, you know, this is delivered. Where is it? So I don't know what's going on there, but anyway, he goes to the back. He's like, well, I'll look. Goes to the back, comes back with it, and sure enough, there he has it. And he's like, and I was like, well, I guess he did have it. You know, he was claiming that when it's scanned out for delivery, that they just scanned that doesn't mean anything. And I was like, well, that doesn't make any sense. I would think if you got a watch, so his story was basically that UPS dropped it off, the label was destroyed, and they gave it back to him. I said, well, it wouldn't make any sense for it to be scanned 3 times and insufficient address. It has to be here. Sure enough, it was there, and he obviously didn't like that. And this is, I mean, it's not a big deal, but he's like, you can blame whoever you want. So I look at the label, and I'm like, let me take the high road. I'm just happy I got the watch. I said, well, I'm just happy you found it. I appreciate you. Piss-faced, didn't say anything. I leave, I go outside, I look at the label, and sure enough, the label was damaged, but somebody had corrected it and put my address on it, right? They hand wrote it in. So it's like, dude, just common sense. Use your brain. Take the time to look. So anyway, if I wasn't persistent, this thing probably would have went back, got lost, and I probably never would have got it. So I'm just happy that I did get it because it is a killer piece. And guys, I know sometimes the Invicta pricing can be all over the place. I encourage you guys, if it's within your budget and you like the big watches, let me just state, I don't normally, reference other guys' channels, but Tommy Big Time, he's a huge Invicta lover as well. I've talked to him a few times over the years. He runs a channel as well. Shout out, if you haven't checked out his channel, I'll go ahead and endorse it. Check it out. He does a lot of battery changes, and he's got the biggest, to the best of my knowledge, the biggest Grand Octane collection. Even more so, blows mine away, like way more than mine. He's got almost every single one. He likes the big watches. Tommy Big Time, my man, you gotta check this watch out. This watch is enormous. So let's go ahead and look at it. So the specs on this are 58 millimeters at the bezel. So is the Grand Octane. But when you compare these side by side, and I picked the black version because I wanted you guys to see the difference. I mean, it's a noticeable difference. These are side by side. There is a huge difference between the size of these watches. This is just a tank. And I just think it's because when they measure these sometimes, they just kind of like, I don't know. I don't really know why they would call this a 58 millimeter watch. Let me just grab, you guys know I don't really, I have a old school rolling ruler, no calipers, there ain't no professionalism here. But let me just put this on here and just see what we actually get. Because I just find this hard to believe that this is 58 millimeter. And these, sorry guys, these are really hard to see on here. So I would say that this thing, it's really strange because I really gotta get a caliper. Sorry guys, I do my best here. So I would say this is about 58 at the bezel, but it's just, I don't know what it is about this watch that makes it look so, and it is bigger. So you got 50, I must be doing something wrong here, because this watch is, I mean, it's just, it's absolutely ridiculous. This watch, well, if we measure all the way from crown, we're looking at close to 60, I'd say 65 millimeter. So at the bezel, and it's hard to see this because it's black, and I'm trying to get the best lighting, guys. I shouldn't make this too complicated. It does measure 58 at the bezel. So, but when you look at this side by side, I think what they've done is when they measure the grand octane, they're measuring it right to the end of these little raised, kind of, I call them pillars. And what they've done on this Shack 5 time zone edition, they're measuring it right from the actual bezel. So, guys, I mean, it is just a tank of a watch. You can just see how much larger it is. And this is a gigantic watch. So let me just give you guys a little more in the specifics here. Remember guys, Invicta, a lot of times you really have to see these in person. They'll, just like the Grand Octane, they call it a 63 millimeter. I get it all the time. Well, is it the full size? Is it the mid size? Anytime you see a Grand Octane measuring 58 millimeter or 63, they're the same watch. Just depends on who's selling it. They may measure all the way to the crown protector and the crown. They may measure at the bezel. I would say that this, because you're not actually measuring those pillars that I call them, that overhang, you're actually getting full bezel measurement. So this is a bigger watch than your Grand Octane. I would say it's a bigger watch than your Sea Hunter. I don't have a Sea Hunter right next to me here, but I mean the Sea Hunter and the Grand Octane side by side are the same size if you minus the crown protector and the pushers. This is just all bezel. So you have a big face and less case. It is a tank of a watch, guys. The basics on here, you only get 100 meters of water resistance. It's not screw down crown, it's not screw down pushers, or actually on this it's just 5 crowns. No screw down crowns, but again guys, this is not a dive watch, this is a show off, look at me watch. I mean, plain and simple. Quartz movement by Miyota. It is the caliber 2025. There are no jewels, so it is a very inexpensive movement. I would say that's the only downside to this watch. I would like to have seen maybe 5 rondas, but in something like this, you probably have to use something rather small. I'm sure, again, don't quote me on this, but I'm sure the Jacob & Company movements are probably the same. But again, do your research. Obviously, black and gold, mother of pearl. Case size 58 millimeter. Nah, that's 58 millimeters at the bezel. Case size is going to take this up to almost 68 millimeter. You do have your buckle style fold over safety clasp. Band length is 190 millimeters. Band size 30 millimeters in width, just like your Grand Octanes. And stone quality is, they say 140. You do have some lume on this with Trinite, although to be honest with you, I couldn't really see much lume, and if the only lume on this is going to be on your hands, nothing on the indices, who cares, right? You don't buy this for the lume. This is a tool watch. This is a look at me, flashy, bling ass watch. And flame fusion crystal as always, and you know, that's really about it. Stainless steel, obviously this is done in the black plating, which always holds up really well. This watch that I have here, I've worn a lot, and this is mirror polished black, which shows everything, and there's hardly, I mean, there's really not even fine scratch in this. So they really do a great job with their plating. This is a fantastic piece, and like I always said, guys, to really make a watch stand out, you got something different when it's black. This is amazing, guys. So we're into this 23 minutes. Let me get to the meat and potatoes here. Let me show you what it looks like on the wrist. Now I have a 7-inch wrist. I'm about 5'7½", and I weigh about 183 pounds as of today. So this is what a watch looks like on a guy my size, my height, and my weight. It is absolutely fantastic, guys. Like I said, I have to tell you, this is my new favorite. I love what they've done with you know, just the bezel and how large it is and how you have these bolts going right around the bezel. It's just a great look. And I will tell you, I have a feeling that you're going to see more of these watches being produced that are going to be diamond editions, and I cannot wait to see what they come out with. It's just every time I think that Invicta is like, all right, they've kind of put the cap on the watch sizes, they're not going to get any bigger, this is a tank. And just to let you guys see what it looks like side by side with the Grand Octane, and I would say, honestly, like, the Grand Octane to me feels a little bit heavier. Again, not an indication of quality. The Grand Octane, look at the size of that thing. The Grand Octane, you know, is probably a little bit heavier due to the movement and due to the fact that you have more, you know, you have a little bit more meat with the function pushers. Every watch is going to be different. Remember, this is still a heavy, chunky watch. It's not going to have the weight, so I don't want you guys to be surprised when you get it. And I do say when. I don't want you guys to be surprised and be like, wow, this is quite a bit lighter. It is a lighter watch, and that's just because I just feel like because you have so much face on this, they have a less case and less actual steel or stainless steel on this. So it does feel a little bit lighter again, but I mean, it feels amazing, guys. Look at the difference in that. These are lined up perfectly right now. I mean, look at the size difference. I mean, absolutely incredible. And this is something I always mention when I compare like diesel watches to some of these larger Invicta timepieces. The diesel watches have always been small case, lots of face, real thin bezel. And that's kind of what they did with this watch here. You have a much larger face. I mean, the face, look at the difference in the face size. And so although it's not much bigger in size, you do have, where in this watch, they've kind of, again, remember we're measuring at the pillars here, you know, that accounts for probably 3 millimeters. So you have a much larger face, and of course the face on this, you don't have as much steel, you know what I mean? So that's probably why it's a little bit lighter, but just a beast of a watch. I mean, it's just, I hope you guys can just see how giddy I am about this watch. Fantastic. All right, guys. Well, I wanted to do that video real quick here because I want to release for Sunday on everybody's weekend, most people's weekends. Let me know if you have any questions. This watch can be had right now for $4.99. I'm not sure if you're going to find any coupon codes for it. A lot of times the Invicta store coupons do not work. If you are a new member to the Invicta stores or a new sign up, you will get the welcome 10, so feel free to take 10% off. Please go ahead and use my link in the description to take you to Invicta stores. It is an affiliate link and it does help to support our cause, or my cause, buying more Invicta watches, and I really do appreciate that. Check it out. Let me know if I can help you in any way. I'm always here to help guide you guys. I'm telling you, if you like the Grand Octanes and you like the big pieces, get one of these. Having this Shack piece really makes me want to go ahead and get their Diamond Edition, the other Shack piece they have. So it is fantastic, guys. Just a great watch. So thanks for watching. Have a wonderful weekend. Subscribe to the channel and take care.